Hello, everyone. It's your friend Dr. Katie. I hope you're all having wonderful, fantastic, spirit-filled days. And it is Friday afternoon, a kind of cold, rainy spring afternoon here where I am. I'd love to hear how it is where you are. And I am here today to talk to you about what to do when other people don't get it. I'd say one of the most frequent questions that I get is, how do I tell fill in the blank person in my life who's very important to me, whom I love, about metaphysics or about chakras or about why I do the things I do? More often than that, it's how do I talk to them about the things I want to do, because people aren't yet exploring the things they want to explore at a deep enough level because they have some fear or some really low vibration energy with someone else in their life. If that is you, raise your hand and let me know, because that's what we're here for. We're here to help out with this kind of particular situation. I know people desire me to give them a formula. Well, if you just tell them this, they're going to come on board and agree with you right away. If that has worked for any of you with any tricky topic in your life with people that you love, you need to tell me right away. We're going to co-write a book and we're going to have a bestseller on our hands. If that was the way it worked, we wouldn't ever have disagreements. We would never have contrast in our lives. It could be that you are, here on this earth and you're experiencing this contrast with people whom you love, whether that's a parent, whether that's a child, whether that's a spouse, whether that's friends, whether that's a whole community, like a church community or a community of your friends who don't understand your particular spiritual callings or your particular spiritual path or the way that you go about fulfilling your spirituality. It could be that they're providing contrast for you because that's a particular barrier that you are invited to let dissolve and to let melt in your life. There's a lesson there to be learned from that, and you are the one who is being called to learn it. If I had a magic formula to give you, I would give it to you. But let me tell you what the magic formula actually is. The magic formula is to work on your own vibration, to work on your own sense of internal calling, your own sense of spirituality, your own relationship with Jesus, your own relationship with spirit, and to lead from there. So the difference with this is you want to lead from your own spiritual discernment in community with like-minded people, rather than from the opinions of others, especially if those opinions are in kind of low vibration, if they just don't get what it is that you want to talk about, what you want to explore. They don't get the gifts that you already know that you have not let explode yet. So the secret to this is actually to work on your own vibration and not the other people's vibration. So when you get in deep sense with your own calling, with your own gifts, with your own spirituality, it's not that it won't matter what other people do or say, but it doesn't affect your calling. So I'm trying to imagine, I'm going to give you a couple of examples from the Bible. When Jesus was setting out on his own and going across Galilee and the land of Israel and calling disciples, I'm sure that there were people in his life that were like, you don't really have a steady job to be doing this. You don't have good mode of transportation. How are you going to eat? How are all these things going to happen? It would have been really easy probably for Jesus to say, you know what, you're right. I'm going to ignore my own calling and stay at home in Nazareth and not set out to do the teaching and the healing and the ministry and the miracles he was called to do. The same is probably true for Paul. Paul, why don't you just stay in Tarsus? You have a good profession. Why don't you do this? You kind of irritate some people sometimes. You're not always the best people person. Why don't you stay here and not strike out into your own calling? But Paul did as his spirit was led. So sometimes we spend so much time trying to satisfy other people or trying to talk them in to our spiritual lives and our spiritual calling. And let me tell you another secret. This is part of your magic formula. Doing is always much more effective than talking. That doesn't mean that you don't need to find kind words and great ways to communicate with people. Of course you do. But showing people your spiritual path rather than letting them talk you out of it is a much more powerful statement than anything that you can say. And again, if you have the secret formula to talk people into your way of thinking, go ahead and tell us what it is. The moment you start to set out on your path and you are doing and fulfilling and exploring and doing that in a way that's very high vibration, that makes it very clear your love for Jesus and your inspiration by the Holy Spirit, other people will start to see that, and then they will begin to be intrigued by what you're doing. And then by then you will have enough facility with the tools that you're working with, the path that you're on, and the way that you are engaging in your own spirituality to be able to explain it without trying to convince them. So the real magic formula is actually stop trying to convince people. There's no like secret formula you can do to convince people to let you do the things that you are called to do. Instead, you have to do them in concert with your own intuition and move forward on your own and let your life and your high vibration, spiritual, prayerful actions and attitude and spirit and way of being be what speaks for you. So does that make sense? I'm going to make another comparison. I know many couples, when they come together and they announce their intentions to be together forever, will have objections by family. Whether it's objections, it could be due to anything, right? If they know that they are meant to be and they move forward anyway, and they let their life and their healthy relationship and their love for each other speak for itself, generally other people will kind of come on board with that. This is assuming everything is healthy, everyone's in a good relationship, that this is spirit called, all that kind of stuff. We've all seen unhealthy, exploding relationships. That's not what I'm talking about. But you know what I'm talking about. You know deep in your heart that this is the right thing, so you let the relationship speak for itself, despite other people's objections. You let that shine on. If those people let people who objected be their voice of conscience, then they would be denying themselves the happiness that they are owed, that the universe, that God has in store for them. The same is true with your spiritual life. So let's move away from this idea that there's like a magic secret formula, that there's anything you can say before you strike out on your journey that will talk people into letting you do it. That's not the way it works. You have to take the step. You have to move forward. You have to live into your own calling, doing that with kindness, doing that with integrity, and moving forward on your own. So this message is particularly for people who are not moving forward because they feel like someone in their life will object. They feel like someone in their life will hold them back, or that they have to over-explain themselves. If you feel constantly that you have to explain yourself and your spirituality to someone else, and I'm not talking about the kind of someone is genuinely curious and you are explaining that because you're having a genuine conversation. If someone is demanding explanation of you, that's the kind of energy we're talking about that's not serving you. So just stop doing it. Move forward, begin your study, do that in a way that's resonant with you, and then they will eventually be pretty impressed with all the synchronicities that are happening in your life, and probably by extension theirs as well. And so kind of reevaluating the way you're approaching that relationship is actually the first step, and way better than any kind of secret formula that I could give you. Again, if you've got the secret formula, you let me know. We will write the book together. But that doesn't exist, or it would be out there already. So this is getting in tune with your own inner vibration and moving forward in a way that is resonant for you. So that is it for this weekend. If this resonates with you and you feel like you are ready to move forward, let me know. That's what I'm here for. Just send me a private message. Or you can email me at katie@katievalentine.com. That's Katie with a Y, not an I-E, Katy @katievalentine.com. That is it for today. I hope you all have wonderful, wonderful weekends. If you're watching this in replay and it's not the weekend, I hope you have a beautiful day, spirit-filled day, wherever you are. If you are watching this and you're not part of the Metaphysical Christian group on Facebook, come on over, join our Facebook group. We would love to have you. I will talk to you all later. Bye-bye.